Hello and welcome back to Premier League Primetime, episode 10. And we are here back again as usual with the usual co-hosts, Andre and Jose. How are you two doing?
Excellent, Davis. How are you?
Good.
Good. Wait, I'm forgetting. We have a new co-host on the show. My bro Robertson. Twice he's been a wonderful guest, and having him here now as a ghost is just wonderful. Robertson, how are you feeling about that?
I'm happy. Thanks for the opportunity, guys. I appreciate it.
Anytime. And briefly before we start, I do want to pay a massive tribute to Diego Maradona. Rest in peace. One of the best that's ever played this game. I personally didn't watch him much, but for the things I did see him do, he was a one hell of a player. He's remarkable. Any of you have anything to say about Diego Maradona before we jump right in?
I don't know. I love the guy. I mean, obviously, we were all too young to watch him live, but I even followed him just after retirement, whether he was smoking a cigar on his boat, just going to random teams' games, wearing random jerseys. He was just the best. His antics, obviously, as a player, he's fantastic. So yeah, he's one of the best. He'll be gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, a legend of the game that will never ever be forgotten by football fans around the world. And not even just football fans, just normal people around the world. An icon. Yeah. Anyways, we just wanted to pay that tribute to Diego Maradona. And now, jumping right into Matchday 9 analyses. And Robertson, starting with you. Chelsea got that 2-0 win. An own goal by Federico Fernandez and a goal from Tammy Abraham. What did you make of that game?
I think it just shows that Chelsea are becoming the team everyone said they wouldn't become, and I was one of those people. I'm going to say it. I was a doubter, but Mendy, excellent addition in goal. The one comment is the defense looked a little shaky without Thiago Silva, but they played well. Newcastle's goalkeeper played incredibly well. He had 10 amazing saves.
Yeah, Darlow's been good this season. He's been pretty good for them, not going to lie.
It was a good game. I'm happy. It just shows that, winning top of the UCL group and coming off strong, good Premier League game, I think there's potential.
Don't even get me started on UCL groups, Robertson. If you're a Manchester United fan saying this, if you're a United fan saying this, okay, I can get it. But come on, seriously, it's really Chelsea and then Sevilla and then two farmers, pretty much. Honestly, seriously. I mean, I'll show some respect for Stubbornness because, that's where Mondi came from. But a question to you, Robertson. Do you think, because you were saying that Chelsea's defense is kind of shaky, maybe adding Christensen to that back line could help, and Marcos Alonso too?
I don't think so. I think Thiago Silva, Ben Chilwell, and then I think Zuma, and then Azzi, and that's just a good team, in my opinion. Granted, I think they spent too much money on midfielders and attackers this summer, but I think they probably should have bought a good defender. They probably should have competed for Tellus or something, but who knows? I feel like it's kind of hard in this market now to get defenders because it's it's a weird market this time of the year. But I think this upcoming transfer market in the summer is going to be very explosive for a lot of people. And with all these blockbuster trades, I'm hopeful that Chelsea is going to get a solid defender to make that back line a little better.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. And just going back to that game, well-deserved win from Chelsea, despite Darlow putting in a hell of a performance. Just quality on the field, just kind of separated the two sides. Anyways, going right into the next game, Jose, over to you. Brighton went to Aston Villa, and they won that game by 2-1. Goals courtesy of serious fan favorite Danny Welbeck and Solly Marsh and Konsa scoring for Aston Villa. Tarek Lamptey getting sent off. That's just freaking wonderful for me and my fantasy team. Jose, what did you make of that game?
Yeah, for me, the headlines in this game are definitely going to go to Trezeguet. He had some really, really good chances, and he did not put any of them away. So he's gonna be regretting this one. A lot of people are gonna be surprised about this result, obviously, because Villa's been playing so well and Brighton haven't. But Brighton actually played really well in this game, and they scored some really nice goals. Danny Welbeck had a really good chip. Solly Marsh had a really good goal from almost outside the box into the top corner. So yeah, great performance from Brighton. They can definitely be proud of this one.
Yeah, big win for Brighton. And as I've said, Brighton are just kind of like one of those teams that you don't know which one you're going to get. You're either going to get a really good performance or you're going to get a really rubbish performance. And it was a very, very good win for Brighton. Unfortunate for Aston Villa. And Aston Villa kind of are sort of in a way like kind of reminding me like the way Arsenal used to be. In the sense that I'm not saying in terms like winning against the big teams, but like in a lot of games that would matter, Arsenal would come in and clutch. But then when it came to, I don't know, when it came to like the Brightons and the Watfords, Arsenal would lose. And Villa's is kind of reminding me of that. If you guys know what I'm saying, they're sort of reminding me of that. Anyways, going right into that next game, and my fears are slowly growing that Tottenham are going to win the league after what Andre has told me now, a Mourinho masterclass again, as Tottenham won by 2-0. Goals scored by Heung-min Son and Giovanni Lo Celso. Andre, what did you make of that game?
Yeah, I mean, happy to get the win. That's probably our most like Mourinho performance that we've had yet under him. But then again, when the hell have we not sat back against City? I think there was some crazy stat with the last 3 matches that we played against them. We haven't lost any of them, but they've outshot us like 70 shots to 8 or something. Like it's some crazy stat. But yeah, we came through with the points. Our counterattacking was just so swift, and the connections were really good. And then City's just back line was kind of all over the place. Cancelo with some poor positioning. And yeah, our defense was really good on the day. Toby Alderweireld got a 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah, it was counterattack, sit back, typical performance that we'd play against City, or that a lot of teams would play against them.
Yeah, simple as that. I think everyone more or less writ that or kind of was writing that in the script. It was bound to happen. We know these sides like Leeds and City, with the coaches they have respectively, struggle against teams that sit back and hit them on the break, and Mourinho did that to absolute perfection. And he's going to the next game, and a game that worries me personally. Jose, Manchester United just getting a 1-0 victory over West Brom, courtesy of Bruno Fernandes from the spot. And Jose, what did you make of that game?
Yeah, well, a lot of United fans didn't really think that was a good performance, but I think that we actually played pretty well in that game, and we did well to beat a pretty solid defensive side. So I think that we can be proud of it, and I think that we definitely had chances other than the penalty to score, which is good.
A solid defensive side. It really, I mean, West
They were
Brom
solid in that game. They haven't been solid all season, but they were very solid in that game. You can definitely admit that.
But do you think it really comes down to just Solskjaer not being able to tactically break teams down? I mean, we've seen this time and time again.
As we all know, Solskjaer is not tactically good enough. But I mean, you have to say that West Brom played pretty well in that game.
And I mean, you look at the other games that West Brom have played against big teams. Against Tottenham, we barely squeezed through a corner set piece, and then Chelsea ended up having to take a point. So I mean, I think it's worrisome that it had to come from this spot, but still, I think the margin, it shouldn't be that much to worry about. I think I'm glad that he took the points.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to see, Anthony Martial. I'm going to say this now. I love the guy. He's my favorite player on Man United. I love seeing him score the goals to sit down the haters and Paul Scholes and all them saying, oh, Martial can't just at the end of the season as a number 9. Oh, he's not good enough. I mean, we've all seen how good he is, and right now he's seriously worrying me. Maybe he might not get another call up to France. Who knows? Does Anthony Martial worry you at the moment?
He doesn't worry me. I think it's one of his periods. He needs to get through it. I think he will. He will soon. I think it's been rare for him recently to have a period like this. I mean, basically since the restart, he's been brilliant until basically the start of the season. So I'm not too worried about it. And also with the France thing, Deschamps came out and he said, "Look, Martial looks promising. I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to keep him. He's going to be hopefully my number one for the Euros soon."
Wow.
Yeah. I think what Jose says just sums up everything you know. Another unconvincing performance from Manchester United in the Premier League. I don't know what it is when it's Premier League or in Champions League. When it comes to Champions League, they just turn into like this, fire dynamite kind of side that you see, free flowing football, and you see like for most of the games, Robertson. For most of the games, Robertson. Like the Leipzig game and then like the Istanbul game that I just played, you see a side that has the ability to play, free flowing football that can be attack minded, but like that performance against PSG, I mean, good win, but I mean we were on the back foot for a lot of that game, and then that horrendous loss in the first game in Istanbul just shows this pragmatic way. It really doesn't work. It really doesn't. Robertson, going over to you, and Everton got a narrow 3-2 victory over Fulham. For Fulham, goals courtesy of Bobby Reed and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, loanee from Chelsea, so I know you know all about him. And for Everton, goals courtesy of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin with 2, and Abdoulaye Toure. What did you make of the game?
Well, I think the big takeaway is Everton are not even remotely title contenders. I was from the beginning, when everyone was hyping up Everton, I said this was slander. They're not that good. They played some of the weaker teams in the Premier League, all this stuff. They barely beat Fulham, and Fulham missed another penalty. And I'm sorry, Fulham I don't think was ready for the Premier League this year. And if you're struggling to beat Fulham, you have no business even being considered. Same with Aston Villa. Those two teams, they started off strong, and I feel like the depth is going to separate teams like Aston Villa, Everton from teams. And I think even Tottenham could be thrown into that mix, somewhere in between, because there's just some of these clubs, just one injury and they're done. And I didn't like Everton lose 2 or 3 straight games because they didn't have the Brazilian dude. I can't even say his name.
Richarlison.
I kind of want to try it, but that's the point stands. If they lose one guy, they drop points so quickly, and look what's happening. Everyone's getting hurt, and that just shows
lack of depth.
If Everton loses James or something, they're totally boned. Or if they lose DCL, that team's not scoring goals anymore. So it really just puts in the perspective that Everton, they're pretenders, they're not contenders. That's my take. That's my hot take.
Yeah, this Everton side kind of reminds me of what Manchester United since when they came out of lockdown had a very, very good prominent starting 11, but if you look to the bench, if one guy gets injured, there's not really much there. If Marcel gets injured, we're gonna bring on the really, really scary Odion Igalo. All due respect to Igalo, he's not a Manchester United quality player. And the drop-off is huge. If losing Richarlison, you bring on Iwobi, drop-off is massive. I don't think they even have another striker on the bench after loaning Moise Kean, who's been doing fairly well, or pretty well at PSG. And the same goes for James. I think they have okay depth in the midfield, but it's not quite good enough. They don't have depth at right back. Yeah. For me, if Everton really, really want to contend, looking at the top 4, just in the very long run, for me, they definitely need to add quality depth. They 100% need to, or else they're just gonna stay as the average mid-table club. Andre, going to you and West Ham yet again, another good result for West Ham. They got a 1-0 win at Sheffield United, and No, not for Mikel Antonio, but a goal courtesy of Sebastian Haller, a guy that David Moyes has relegated to the bench as he favors starting Mikel Antonio. What did you make of this? What did you make of this narrow win?
Yeah, it was a surprisingly entertaining match. I think shot count. I think Sheffield United had 13 shots to West Ham 16. Possession was 47 to 53. It was really even match on both sides, and I think what won it in the end was the individual quality of Sebastian Haller and the rest. There was chances galore the whole match, and I think it's undisputable that West Ham just have more talented players than Sheffield United. It's what won them the game in the end, and they'll be happy to take the points and keep the run that they're on going.
Yeah, and again, it just shows, how unconvincing Sheffield United are this season. I mean, I don't think a single one of us, in terms of our sack manager predictions, put Chris Wilder even anywhere near it. I think most of us said David Moyes, Dean Smith, Scott Parker. I mean, I said David Moyes, but I mean, this Premier League season is just surprising. I mean, I feel like every season is surprising, but especially this one. I mean, Crystal Palace are like in sixth place or something like that. I mean, this season has just been shocking entirely. Some of the results I've seen I would have never expected. Let's not get talking about that day where United conceded 6 at home. Going into the next game, and Jose and Mikel Arteta's did not do a Mikel Arteta's masterclass as Arsenal drew 0-0 with Leeds. Quick question before I ask you for your thoughts on the game. Was Nicolas Pepe man of the match?
He was the highlight of the match, no doubt. I was probably my favorite part of the game, especially afterwards seeing the guys at AFTV tell me that he should never play for Arsenal again after that.
Like Lee Judges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised DT didn't say something like that though. I was about to say I love DT. I'm surprised.
Of course, yeah.
Anyways, what did you think about the game?
Well, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched the entire game and it was very enjoyable. I mean, I think Leeds had 25 shots on Arsenal, compared to Arsenal's 9.
Yeah, Arsenal got very lucky.
Yeah, same amount of goals they have in the league this season, by the way, 9. Leeds dominated possession.
Same amount of goals that Son has too. Son has 9 goals.
I mean, not much to say. I enjoyed it. Arsenal didn't score again, so it makes me happy. Pleased to see Pepe get sent off as well. Very much worth the £70 million.
Yeah, one thing I am kind of surprised is, especially with the team like Leeds United, I was kind of expecting Mikel Arteta to go with the classic Mikel Arteta's classic formation against the big teams, the 3 at the back. I was kind of expecting that and try to hit Leeds on the break because we all know that's why that's where Leeds have been so poor. And I was really kind of surprised. I'm sure Sirius is probably really surprised. He's watching this. I mean, for me personally, for some of the team selections, I was kind of shocked, even though they are missing some players. Thomas Partey, as DT said after that game against Villa, you take him out of that midfield, and it just falls to shit. And that midfield got mostly dominated, to be honest with you. And Thomas Partey is someone that literally anchors that entire midfield. And when you take him off, you're back to the bare bones of Xhaka and Granit Xhaka, Dani Ceballos, Joe Willock can do a job. Really, really not great.
Leeds were very unlucky in this game. Also, Rodrigo hit the top corner post, and Patrick Bamford also hit the post with a header.
Now Bern Leno, and again doing another job for Arsenal.
I mean, Arsenal clearly have a creativity issue. Who do you bring in? I mean, do they need a creative midfielder?
I think you bring in an attacking midfielder.
I've seen Eriksen. I've seen the Eriksen rumors, but I know Andre would be very upset if that happened.
I'm thinking, someone like Eriksen, Coutinho.
Before Koeman came in, I thought Coutinho was Arsenal bound. I thought he was going to go. But yeah, since Koeman's come in at Barcelona, he's a huge part to Barca's plans. And I'm sure Curtis and Adam wouldn't want to see Philip Coutinho now go, seeing how important he is of a player. For me personally, if I were Mikel Arteta, I know you have the whole Mesut Ozil situation, and he's not in the Premier League squad, but I don't know. I don't understand why he's on the roster. I mean that's a guy who and as bad as Ozil is at the moment, one thing that all of us cannot deny is that guy can come on and create something. He's a creator. He's a creator by trade. He's a guy that you could just have. Yeah, I know to start him every game, but if you need someone to, to open a couple doors for a couple chances, that's a guy you could have.
And he's not like like in Ericsson where he's really good at putting those balls in, or a Hamish where he's just really good technically. It's more that players tend to just revolve around Ozil. When he moves, they center around him. They always they know that his ideas are good. So I think it's the impact that Ozil has just on the rest of the players rather than just his technical ability. I think that's what separated Ozil from a lot of other attacking midfielders.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Anyways, getting right into that next game, Robertson, over to you. A Liverpool side that we all thought were going to fall to Leicester's hands absolutely, utterly shocked us all. I was shocked. I'm sure Aiden was shocked. And Aiden, if you're watching this, you cannot say you had any form of confidence whatsoever until you saw what's his name? Until you saw Matip and Fabinho at center back. I didn't even know they were. I thought they were still injured. I also thought they were still injured. Anyways, Liverpool won by 3-0, courtesy of a Johnny Evans own goal, and then once again Diogo Jota scoring, and then another surprise. I know. Roberto Firmino scoring. I know it's not something you see, but yeah, he actually did score. He should have had 2 goals that game. Robertson, what did you make of the game?
Leicester played terrible. It was I actually watched the whole game, and for me, I always like seeing Leicester play well, and they just played terrible. They were the formation was whack. I think they played a 3-4-3 or something. It was just
another 3 at the back from Brendan Rodgers because of his defensive problems. But with Johnny Evans and Fofana back, he could have played a back 4. But instead he went for that back 3.
Yeah, but they were doing the thing where all Brighton on the right and the dude on the left were swinging back. So when they're under pressure, they would have 5 in the back. But they were flat on – that's how Jota scored his goal. They were literally just flat, and he just ran right through them. And they just were not that good. It was – overall, they played terrible. That's what I hate about Leicester sometimes.
Lackluster.
You always want them to win, and they do all this good stuff. It's like a cycle. They're playing good. You're 5th. They'll be the underdog again, and they just play shit. And you're really I'm poor now. I lost all my money betting on you. It's ridiculous.
I wouldn't lose all faith in Leicester. It was definitely a horrendous performance, an underwhelming performance. Brendan Rodgers could have definitely taken advantage of that game. And it shows. And I think when you look at this, I think it just comes down to the manager. With all the absences Liverpool have, Jurgen Klopp has a set mentality and he has a set mindset and a set style of play. And that's where I look at some of these inexperienced managers. Sorry, Oli, but like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you really don't know what kind of style of player you're going to get from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But when it comes to Jurgen Klopp, no matter who it is, whether it's Virgil van Dijk, whether it's one of the academy kids, whether it's Origi, Andre's favorite, Takumi Minamino. Regardless of who it is, Jurgen Klopp has a set system, and his set system is extremely effective, which is attacking football and constant pressing. And that's just super, super effective. And it was clearly a managerial masterclass by Jurgen Klopp. And for me personally, I think that's why Liverpool dominated that game.
No, it was, I don't know. I just think Leicester were just so stupid.
But yeah,
Brendan
but at
Rodgers
the same time, Leicester
massively
were
wrong.
crap. They were absolutely horrendous.
He just got it so wrong. How do you not have confidence and realize you can outdo them? I mean, even those midfield threes. Obviously, Ndidi is injured, but I mean, I think Brendan Rodgers needs more confidence in his players. Look at that. Hypothetically, they have a midfield three of Ndidi, Tielemans, James Madison, or whoever slots in
Now,
there.
he's playing James Madison out wide. I don't get that. I don't know why he keeps doing that. He's best through the middle.
Yeah, for me, this was just so weak from Brendan Rodgers.
Like the first half of last season, like we were all thinking Leicester could win the title because of that that attacking setup. I don't know what's happened with Iosi Perez. Here's another one. If he had kept playing the way he was in the first half of last season, I was thinking, he could probably go up to a bigger club after that season, but everything just kind of fell apart for him. But yeah.
Also, the Leicester players, they were smiling the whole match. Like they were down, they were kept turning the ball over, and they
reminds me of Ollie. It reminds me of. I don't know if it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, good vibes FC, in disguise. And I do love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I wanted to see him do well, but at the end of the day, it really just is good vibes FC. Like there isn't. I mean, there's no real tactical. There really isn't that much of a top tactical approach from it. Anyways, and putting Solskjaer aside, Jose, over to you. Crystal Palace went to Turf Moor and they lost by 0-0 to Burnley. The lamppost, Chris Wood, getting that goal for Burnley. What did you make of that game?
Well, it's probably surprised me. I'm sure it surprised a lot of you. I thought that Palace would win this game, and that some of their bigger players would turn up, but they didn't. So, it's a typical Burnley performance. They score early, defend the whole game. That's what it is. What it is. Sometimes you can't stop the Burnley performances.
Yeah, both sides setting up in their traditional 4-4-2s, in their 4-4-2 formation. Both sides literally just playing the exact same way. And Crystal Palace actually do something which they fail to do and really don't do much, which is trying to break down the opposition. Something that they're never really used to doing. And when I saw that Wilfried Zaha had COVID, two things went up in my mind. I thought Crystal Palace are going to have a very difficult time winning this game if they are. And number two, shit, because my fantasy team is really, really screwed now with him out. And yeah, what more can I say? Nothing really. And lastly, Andre, over to you. Wolves hosted Southampton, and that game ended in a draw 1-1. Theo Walcott scoring on his return to Southampton, I think after his first goal in over 13 years for Southampton, and then Pedro Neto coming off the bench and scoring late for Wolves. What did you make of that game?
I think we all knew how evenly contested this match would be. I think that really sums it up. They were both missing some players. I think Connor Cody for Wolves and Danny Ings for Southampton, but I think both will be happy to share the points. I mean, I think both sets of players on both teams went to social media to post about the game. That's usually a sign that they were both happy to take the point. They were really even. So that's all.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. And yeah, you put it perfectly. I have nothing more to say about that.
Actually, I don't know if you guys are interested, but so for Liverpool in the Champions League, they got Salah and Tsimikas back, but they lost to Atalanta 2-0. That just proves they have an injury boost now, but still, it's like I assume Atalanta went at them. I didn't see the game, but whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, getting into our next and final segment of the show, of course, is our predictions for match day 10. Starting off with Crystal Palace and Newcastle. For me, seeing that Wilfried Zaha is now going to be out for the Palace game, I think Newcastle are actually going to win this one. For me personally, I just think without Wilfried Zaha, they don't have a guy who can actually get them goals. I mean, yeah, they have Michy Batshuayi and Jordan Ayew, but I think the reason why Jordan Ayew's actually been decent this season is because he's had Zaha next to him. For me, Newcastle's going to win this game. Andre, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think hypothetically it seems like Newcastle just have to shut out a couple of players, and they can be confident that they can go and get the win. So I guess I'll go with Newcastle for this one.
Robert, what are you saying?
Saying 1-1 or 0-0. It's not. Honestly, I wouldn't watch that game. I wouldn't pay to watch that game. But
Well, nobody wants to pay to watch any game. I mean, it's Peacock. Nobody likes Peacock.
all I'm gonna say is this is like a mid to low table battle. It's gonna be very slow. It's like with the thing with Newcastle is they're very defensive minded. It's hard to slip by. And Crystal Palace won't have the person who produces the most for them, so they won't be putting in a lot of chances. So 1-0, 0-0, some low-scoring game.
Yeah, agreed. And lastly, Jose, over to you. What is your crafty predictions for this game?
I could definitely predict probably a low-scoring game for this one. It's going to be pretty tight. Both sides are probably better defensively than they are going forward. So I'd say if there's going to be a winner, it's going to be down to some of the talented players like Zaha or Saint-Maximin getting a good goal for them. I'd probably go with a Palace win for this one, probably like a 1-0.
All right, there you have it. And Jose, thanks for joining us. I know you had to go for some reason. But yeah, it's been, of course, a pleasure having you. And yeah, well, we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you guys. Serious touched me as a child.
Gosh damn it! Every time I swear for I'm previous. I apologize for what just happened. I really have no idea what to say about it. Anyways, going into this next game, Brighton against Liverpool, and I think I think Liverpool will win this one. I think after what was supposed to be in my opinion, a difficult game against Leicester, which proved to be really easy. I think Liverpool will come away and win this one easily against Brighton. Andre, what are you saying?
Yeah, hypothetically a chance for them to go top. I don't think they'll mess this up. I think they'll have to get the points. I think they'll win. Just feels like it.
All right. Robert, what are you saying?
I hate to say it. I don't think Brighton has a chance. Like Tarek Lamptey, and even Adam Lallana, but it's no contest. Liverpool's just too.
And Lamptey is suspended, anyways.
Yeah, that's the point. They're just Brighton. There's levels for Brighton and Liverpool.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. Next game, Manchester City hosts Burnley, and definitely seeing that. I saw Benjamin Mendy back, and I saw Aguero back from injury. I think Manchester City now will take full advantage, and I think Manchester City will come away with the win, no problem. It just comes down to levels of quality. I said a couple times in the past, and feel good to hear. Up front for Burnley, you have Jay Rodriguez, Ashley Barnes, and Chris Wood. And Manchester City have Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez, and Sergio Aguero. It's just levels. Andre, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think Pep always gets some crazy result against Burnley. I think he'll want to bounce back. So I think he'll want like a 4-0, but he'll get like a 1-0 or a 2-0. But still, he'll. It seems like City can win.
Yeah.
They'll cancel out, but
yeah, and they definitely should win. Or else, I mean, that would be really, really disappointing for Pep Guardiola. Robert, what are you saying?
I'm feeling it's a pretty weak Burnley side. I think Man City's going to be dominant throughout the whole game, but like what Andre is saying, might be a low-scoring game just because, like, sometimes it's the age-old thing. The team that should win ends up playing like crap. So
yeah, and really just saying and just discussing, a little while ago about how Burnley play. They're not going to be easy to break down. It's definitely going to be a typical Sean Dyche setup. they're going to try and be stiff and solid at the back. And yeah, it's that simple. But I think Man City will break them down eventually. Anyways, going to one of the more exciting games of the weekend, Everton play Leeds United, and I honestly, I mean, there's so many different ways this one could go. For me, it just definitely comes down to who's playing on the pitch and how each team sets up. I mean, for me, I think this is gonna be a draw. For me personally, I think these are two evenly matched sides. Leeds United unlucky in that result against Arsenal. Everton just getting that narrow victory over Fulham. And I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin versus Patrick Bamford, two strikers who are in good form at the moment. Yeah, I think this one's going to end in a draw. Andre, what are you saying?
Oh, yeah, battle of two very experienced managers. Yeah, it's a weird one to call, but you look at Everton on those set pieces, and I think that's what'll probably edge them over. So it could go either way, but I think, I'll go draw too. I'll go draw.
Robert, what about you?
I'm going Paddy Bamford, putting it 1-0. I don't think Everton's defense is that good, and Paddy Bamford, I see Paddy. That man's going to just smack one home. It's going to be lucky, but it's going to happen. Mark my words.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping Patrick Bamford and Calvert-Lewin score loads of goals because that will really help me in my fantasy team. Anyways, I'm going into probably the most entertaining game of the weekend. West Brom hosts Sheffield United, and you know what? And I don't normally like to spend money on Peacock, but honestly, I gotta get I gotta get the money out, spend the money, and watch that game because I know I'm going to be on the very edge of my seat watching that game. For me personally, I mean these are two horrendous sides at the moment in terms of form. There's no way in how West Brom's going to win it. I mean, if anyone's going to win, it'd definitely be Sheffield United. But I'm probably going to lean towards more draw. Andre, what are you saying?
Tough one. I think I'll go the same thing as you.
All right, and
Yeah,
Robert, what about you?
I just can't see any goals being scored in that game. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just gonna be I don't know. What I imagine is two morbidly obese bulldogs hitting each other. And it's they can't push each other. No bulldog is winning. They just keep butting heads. I guess a better analogy would be two cows, but it's just two teams that are very slow and not very interesting to watch play each other. It was the Burnley. I saw this thing. It was who on earth paid to watch Burnley versus West Brom or something. It's the same kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much the same around the board here. And the next game, which actually is one of the more interesting games of the weekend, Southampton hosts Manchester United, and this game gives me one thought in my head, and that thought is a straight up draw. For me, I think Ralph Hasenhüttl's side is just gonna cause the exact same problems that they did to Manchester United last year when they played them at Old Trafford. Constant pressing, and I think United will. I think because of Ole's tendency to set up with two central defensive midfielders, whether we'll finally see Donny van de Beek start alongside Fred, whether it's going to be Mick Fred, whether it's going to be Matt Fred. Honestly, yeah, this game is draw written all over it. Andre, what are you saying?
Yeah, that starting 11, I think United is going to be integral to how this match will play out. It could really go anywhere. I think it took you guys a while to figure out what your best starting 11 was, given Greenwood hasn't been up to par. I want to go 2-1 Southampton, but I just think United's 11. I think Solskjaer will get it right, and I think it'll be a draw. I think you're right.
And Robertson, what are you saying? Robertson, you're on
muted.
I
mute.
was muted. Yeah, sorry. I think Danny Ings.
He's out with COVID.
Oh darn, never mind.
No.
Then honestly, Southampton still wins 1-0. I don't care. I don't care what anyone's gonna say. United's a farmers team. Like
Whoa.
I don't even consider United to be like. I'm
Whoa.
gonna say Andre and I. We are like
Trouble.
higher class individuals looking down.
No.
The best teams are in London, which is I hate to say it. Like I don't know. Like I don't care what anyone says. United.
So you're saying Arsenal is one of the top teams?
No, we're meaning Palace. What?
I'm gonna say I don't even consider Arsenal to even be part of the top 6 anymore. Like I feel like being part of the top 6 is winning trophies, and like Tottenham's pushing it, being in there, but like how it is.
Every season.
Manchester United are far more part of that top 6 than Tottenham ever will be. I honestly don't care what people say. Tottenham haven't won a freaking trophy since 2008 when they won the League Cup. Honestly,
honestly, personal opinion here, winning the Europa League isn't that much of a flex.
Okay.
I don't think it's that good. You're playing a bunch of like third world farmers in Europe. Like nice, bro. You beat the Bulgarians. Like, keep it up. Like, and it's like it comes down to like the 4 like UCL rejects at the end. Everyone's like, wow, this is so good. Like, Man United won. Like, dude, who cares? Like I'm sorry. Like, and United, bro. When was the last time United like won like a legitimate trophy?
And we're gonna go right into the next game. We're gonna go right into the next game. And this is probably actually the most exciting game of the weekend. I'm actually very, very excited for this one. Number 1 against number 2. Andre versus Robbo. Chelsea against Tottenham, and this is what I will say. Apologies to one of you, but let's look at Chelsea. And they've been very, very defensively solid for the past 6 games or so. Edouard Mendy filling that void left by one of the best managers in the world. And Chelsea just look like a new team. But I just think at the moment, I fear Tottenham is going to turn into what Liverpool were last season, for like the vast majority of the season. A team that every week you come up against and you're thinking, oh shit, we're screwed. And for me, and after that win against Manchester City, I mean, Tottenham will have nothing but confidence, and especially if they win their Europa League game this week, I honestly think Tottenham are going to take care of business. I think Jose Mourinho will teach. I think the teacher will outdo the student, the master over the apprentice. I think it will be. I think Frank Lampard will. I think he could set up in that back 3. I think that's a very likely possibility, knowing that Mourinho will likely hit them on the break. And this game could very easily end in a draw, but I think Tottenham are going to win it. I personally think Tottenham will, unfortunately, win this game and cement themselves at the top of the league. Andre, over to you.
I think we've got a really tough run of fixtures coming up. And I think if you ask me which one would you be would you not just be most expectant, but also, most accepting to drop points, then it would probably be against this Lampard's Chelsea. I think they're probably the one to fear the most out of the next few sides that we're going to play.
I don't know. Playing United at Old Trafford was pretty scary.
Yeah, it seemed. I mean, I really wish we had Lamela for this match because he ruined.
Let's not talk about Lamela. Any more thoughts about that?
He was the difference maker against them last time in the Carabao Cup, I think it was. So I
love the Carabao Cup. We all love the Carabao Cup.
I still beat them. So I guess I think I'm most scared to go against Chelsea out of the next few fixtures that we have. But if I'd be really happy if we get the result done. I think we could.
So
I think
your
we
prediction
I
is
think
you're
we
going to
can
win the
stop
game?
Chelsea's attack. I think it's just a matter of whether Lampard outclasses us tactically, which he has before. So yeah, I don't know.
So your final prediction is what?
I think I'm confident going into it. I think a draw is highly likely, but I'll just stick by my team. I'll just say we can edge it out like you said, like Liverpool last season. We'll just keep grinding out results.
Nah, yeah, I hope that isn't the case. I really hope that isn't the case. Robertson, over to you.
All I'm gonna say is, Davis, I think you're delusional for rating Tottenham so highly. Granted, the fact they lost to a team that Google didn't even register their crest.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Well, you have the odd game though. I mean, there's the odd game, and that happens.
We haven't lost since the opening day.
Exactly. Tottenham have been
all I'm gonna
unbeaten
say
since
is
opening day.
this. I remember everyone was like, "We need a Premier League, where the title race is between Arsenal and Tottenham or something, and Leicester won." Like, I'm gonna be honest with you,
Manchester United are more likely to win a title than Arsenal. Let's just not even
all I'm gonna
bring
say
that
is
into.
this. All I'm gonna say is this: Tottenham are bottlers.
That is very true.
Okay.
When the going gets tough and the games actually matter, Robertson make a very good point. Tottenham.
All I'm gonna say is
we have Trophy Mourinho now.
Oh, shut up.
The mentality is changing.
That
It's
UCL they lost was the worst UCL I've ever watched in my life.
That was the most boring final. Liverpool and Tottenham. That final, I literally just fell asleep. That was the most boring final I've ever seen.
And
it was also bad because of the handball, though. I think that's what made it really boring.
Anyways, regardless of the fact, Tottenham is a farmer's team disguised. They're like a fancy horse. It's a one-trick pony disguised as a world-class horse. Chelsea, on the other hand, fueled by the Russian money that makes Chelsea elite. I think Chelsea win slightly comfortably. Timo Werner, insane. That man has a goal contribution every week. Unselfishly decided to
better than Kane and Son.
Hands down.
Okay. Statistically, I don't think so.
Dude, Harry Kane looks like a morbid. Harry Kane in 20 years is going to be so fat.
20-something goal contribution. He's doubling figures. Yeah, Timo Werner's getting here and there every week. Hey,
no, he puts in one every week. All I'm going to say is this. Listen.
Harry Kane puts in
full strength Chelsea commits crimes against the full strength Tottenham. Crimes. I'm talking about legal action needs to be taken place. Arrest these players because they are murdering these little children on the field. Full strength Chelsea.
Anyways,
but hold on. Mourinho has made Tottenham just a team that's incredibly difficult to go against. I think Chelsea, when they're in possession, Reece James on this side, you've got those attacking players. If we shut out your attack, then that's all we have to do. I think I think we will. I don't know. That's what I will say. I think we're the most difficult side to play against. That's what I think Tottenham is.
At the moment, I will say. Anyways, going into the next game, another one to watch. Arsenal hosts Wolves.
Just don't say
I honestly don't know. This game could go many ways. I think Wolves will do the usual. They'll sit back and hit on the break. But for me, if Arteta goes for the Arteta's masterclass and tries to sit back and hit on the break, I think personally they're gonna get devastated by it because Wolves literally do it every single week. For me, I also think it's gonna be another underwhelming. I think it's gonna be underwhelming from both sides personally. And I think this game's gonna end in a draw. I think Raul Jimenez is gonna yet again strike for Wolves and Aubameyang. And I don't know what's going on with Aubameyang. But yeah, I think this game's gonna end in a draw. It's a tough one to predict. Andre, what are you saying?
Yeah. I think you're right. It will probably be underwhelming, but I just see the individual matchups. I think Wolves could end up kind of breaking their confidence, even though they're 2 losses in a row now. Arsenal, that being. So I'm gonna give it to Wolves. I think individually, I think can really trouble Arsenal.
All right. And Robertson, what about you?
Arsenal, Farmers, Wolves. Wolves go in there. I don't really care. Jimenez, he's on my FIFA team, FIFA Mobile, man. That man does wonders for me in versus attack. All I'm gonna say, Wolves come in there, they get the job done, and Arsenal, I hate to say it, Cyrus, they're trash. Anytime a good Arsenal player, what happens? They leave and they go play for a club that can.
Well, Aubameyang signed a new contract. He's
Man,
staying.
best player in the Premier League from what I hear, best striker too. So Arsenal loses by a country mile. Wolves take care of business, no contest. Wolves are just a better team.
Are you sure your bias is not getting in the way?
No, I just think Arsenal is very poor lately.
I mean, if Wolves were playing against City in this next match, we'd probably all edge it to Wolves a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You look at it that way, and it's like, okay, they can probably beat Arsenal.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is
it'd be devastating if Arsenal get 3 losses in a row. It's kind of hard to see, but it'd be really devastating if they did.
Who is it? What were you saying there?
I mean, in the end,
it's terrible, and it's literally just the players suck. No manager can work with that team. I'm sorry. You have Pepe headbutting people. How do you spend 70 million pounds on that guy?
Yeah, that was crazy.
You need to sell the whole team and start over. That's how Arsenal wins.
Anyways, I think personally Robo's bias is kind of getting in the way there, just a little bit. Anyways, going into second to last game, Leicester City hosts Fulham, and I think Brendan Rodgers is going to get his shit together, and I think Fulham will come away with a win, no doubt. No, Leicester will come away with a win, no doubt. Fulham put in it was a good fight against Everton. It was a really they fought for their lives. They still lost, but yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers will just get his shit together, and I think Leicester will take care of business. Andre, over to you.
I honestly feel like a heartbroken girl when I saw Brendan Rodgers set up against Liverpool, and because I had so much love and confidence for him, and now it's I just want him to suffer. I just want him to suffer.
Why?
Because he broke my heart by playing so crappy against Liverpool. So now I'm just rooting for Fulham just because I want that mother effer to suffer. But no, and God, it's so hard. I don't want to side with him. Sure, Leicester will get the win, but I really hope Fulham give him pain.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're not trying to? Are you sure you're not talking Arsenal? You're talking about Arsenal. It's sounding like you hate Brendan Rodgers more than Arsenal.
I mean, Brendan. No, I don't. I've never loved Arsenal. I loved Brendan Rodgers. I thought he was going to smash it to Liverpool, but he didn't. But I was hoping at least a draw, and he just played some of the worst football I've ever seen.
So you predict Fulham is going to win this game?
No, I'm saying Leicester's going to win, but I'm just rooting for Fulham.
All right. Anyways, Robert, over to you. What are you saying?
Fulham, aren't they last in the Premier League right now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Jamie Vardy, that man is biggest shit house in the league. He gets the chance. He's going to let him know. Leicester, that's the thing with Leicester. When you need them to be good, they're not good, but they're pretty efficient. They take care of business.
All right. Anyways, going to that final game, West Ham hosts Aston Villa, and this game has a draw written all over it for me. I think these two sides will come to match each other, and I know Robertson's looking at me like I'm absolutely mental because his favorite player, no, not Mason Mount, and Jack Grealish has been doing wonders for Villa this season, but I just think with the form and some of the important games that David Moyes' West Ham side has played in, they've managed to be clutch. And yeah, I think this is not going to be a difficult game. This is not going to be an easy game for Aston Villa. I think this game is going to end up in a draw. And Andre, what are you saying?
Yeah, it could go either way. I'm gonna give it to. No, I'll give it to Aston Villa actually. Yeah, Aston Villa. I think individually, I think Grealish. You look at Watkins. Just Douglas Luiz can hopefully.
Yeah, Watkins, brilliant.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like they can edge it. So I'll go Villa. I think maybe they can regain their form, and West Ham will finally see an end to their good run.
And lastly, Robertson, over to you.
I'm gonna say Jack Grealish has magic. That man has massive calves. That man can slot the ball into any net. But realistically, they have, I think, Martinez, excellent signing for them. They're defensively fairly well-rounded. They have their moments, and they're a very on and off team, which is disappointing. Like, they lost this last weekend in a matchup I had them winning, and I captained Grealish too, which was a mistake. But sometimes I don't know. My bias for Jack Grealish is very strong. Like, I don't know why I like him so much, but he's
we can tell.
If he signed for Chelsea, all I'm gonna say is like
That'll never happen.
It'll never happen because they don't need him. But
Mason Mount.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm gonna say this: Mason Mount.
That's what Frank's saying, and Gareth Southgate.
Mason Mount is actually fairly good. Like, he's
I'll see.
Recent games he's been playing, like in the Champions League game, like he played pretty well. Like he got that assist. Like he doesn't play around. Like Mount in the Newcastle game could have had a goal. Like he slept on. Like, granted, I think Grealish is better, but Mason Mount's slander is getting a little old for me. So it's really conflicting. But I think Aston Villa, they should win, but you never know with them. They're so inconsistent.
All right. Well, there you have it. I thank you for watching this. If you are absolutely pleased with Robertson being our newest addition to our team, make sure to smash like on the video and subscribe. And if you want to keep up with us, we're on Instagram and Spotify, and look at us in the descriptions. And wherever you are in the world watching us, have a good day/evening.